AskReddit by Livercattle. People who can fall asleep quickly, how do you do it? Vibrating bed on the lowest setting. It's enough to distract my brain from thoughts other than shaky shaky shaky, then out like a light. The way you described it made me laugh. Take my upvote Mayo. Make a fantasy story you want to be the main character in. Continue writing the story in your head each time you go to sleep. My story doesn't go too far, cause I'm usually passed out debating on details I want to add to the scenes. Love that someone else does this. Been doing this since childhood. Exhaustion. I used to always wonder how my dad could just fall asleep sitting upright on the sofa. Then I got older and I realized it's not intentional, the naps find you. I shut my eyes and notice whatever mental images pop up first, then just watch as they shift and change. 100% fun to just surrender control of your mind and see to what twisted scenario memory it takes you. A really comfortable bed and a weighted blanket with the windows open. I can fall asleep instantly. I've been thinking about getting a weighted blanket because I have anxiety and insomnia, but I'm afraid it'll feel a little claustrophobic. Lol, isn't it too heavy? The ones I saw were about 10 kilograms. Edit, please stop replying, I can't handle more notifications. I close my eyes and go honkshu. Mimimimimimimimi. I get lost in my mind thinking of random scenarios. That's what keeps me awake. The United States Army teaches troops one simple trick. If you work to perpetual exhaustion, you'll be able to fall asleep anywhere, at any time. After any period of being used to army exhaustion, every sleep is just immediate and it takes so long to go back to actually having to think about falling asleep, for better or for worse. Listen to YouTube. Out in under 10 minutes every time. This works for me as well. I'll listen to podcasts or sometimes a YouTube channel where they do something like turning wood or making resin things. I've made a point of not going to bed until I'm actually tired, even if it means I'm going to bed 7 hours before I need to get up instead of 9. Huge increase in the quality of my sleep. I've gone from being tortured every night lying awake to sleep in minutes. If I do this, I'll sleep like 2 hours a day and then be exhausted for the rest of the week. Deleted. Deleted. Don't know, I just put my head on the pillow. My secret to falling asleep is that I simply stop trying to stay awake. I close my eyes and select sleep for 6 hours. Works every time. Lem guess, you have to pay to upgrade to 6+ hours? Recently got magnesium supplements and it feels like they help with my sleep. There's evidence they help produce GABA in the brain, which is known to produce calming effects. I've taken this for sleep before and found it does help me wake up early. I think this is one of the most important factor. White noise machine. A fan. I am a belly sleeper. So as soon as I turn over on my belly, it's like a power off button and I'm gone within a minute. Wake up early and expend a lot of energy during the day. I exercise pretty much daily and stand walk a lot for work. I pass out quick most days. On your back, repeat mental relaxation techniques starting at the extremities and moving towards the torso. Then just repeating to yourself, don't think, don't think, don't think. The military teaches this method to soldiers who may only get a short window for sleep when in combat. Repeating anything works. I find repeating the word that stops me from forming a thought. I often imagine myself in a world other than this one and create it to my will. Creative imagination works better than thoughts. My BF calls it my sleep position. I always sleep on the same side in the same position. It's like magic. I go to sleep almost instantaneously. Have a baby and a toddler feeding off your energy like little vampires. I was similar, but then my kids grew up. Not eating till late. Good workout. Not napping during the day. Not sleeping until late. And when all else fails and the mind is racing, rub one out. Can't believe the joke about men falling asleep after sex is basically as old as man, and yet no one seems to think of cranking it when they have issues sleeping. I think I'm just blessed. I can usually drift off within 5 minutes. The odd time I really struggle to sleep, I'll look at Reddit writing prompt sub and pick a prompt, then come up with a story in my mind. I'm usually fast asleep before I've even thought of the first character's name. Wake up early and do something. Do stuff during the day to be tired. Go to bed when tired. Sleeping in a cold room and listening to white noise. Borderline narcolepsy. Medication. Even that doesn't always work. Trazodone and I'm still tossing and turning or forcing myself to keep perfectly still for an hour or more. Get enough physical activity to where you are exhausted and need to sleep. This is what works for me. Routine. Good sleep hygiene. If I'm out of place, physically or bedtime wise, I have trouble falling asleep. If it's within my normal bedtime range and I'm in my bed, I usually fall asleep pretty quick. Sometimes I have a hard time getting more than a paragraph read for days on end. Same paragraph every night, haha. I empty my mind entirely, no thoughts at all, and it works perfectly for me. How do you do that? Is 2-3 hours quick? Being tired af. Going to bed at the exact same time every night. Passion flower tea to capsules of ground chamomile. I sleep like a damn baby. Weed. I love weed as much as anyone, but weed disrupts your REM sleep. It definitely helps me fall asleep and stay asleep, but I would never recommend someone start using weed to fall asleep unless they have legitimate PTSD or something. And that's only because it stops you from dreaming. For example, they have nightmares about war. Wake up early, work hard. Go to bed at around 8 PM, sleep within 10 minutes. Works every time. 5 knuckle chuckle with the 5 sisters on Palm Street. The old toss and turn. For real, I am very lucky to have the ability to doze off pronto. No secret whatsoever, I guess I'm just blessed that way. Lol. I typically take a power nap during my lunch. Down 8 ounces of coffee, eat a quick meal, go for a 10-15-minute walk, then lay out in the grass or hide in my car with my eyes completely covered with music playing. Alarm goes off and I feel completely rejuvenated. Nice little reset for me. You have to force yourself to relax, which sounds odd, but as somebody who struggled to fall asleep for years, once I learned how tense I constantly was, I could choose to make myself relax. I mean physically. Mental relaxation is harder, but if you can put your body at ease, then sleep tends to follow. Benadryl. Weed. I used to be anti-weed for the longest time until I found some good strains and methods of smoking that I liked. Since then, I usually only smoke in the evening leading up to bedtime, and by the time 10 PM rolls around, I'm ready to clonk out. And usually once I do get settled in bed, it takes me less than 15 minutes to be passed out. When I close my eyes, I usually look upwards with eyelids closed. My experience is, when I just look straight ahead or down, anxiety hits harder, but when looking upwards, it tends to ease tremendously. Don't know if it works for others, too, but it might be worth a try. I used to have a lot of trouble sleeping until I gave up caffeine. It was rough for the first week or so. Had actual withdrawal symptoms. But after that I felt better than I had in years. I sleep so much better, and when I do wake up I actually feel refreshed and not like I need that caffeine hit just to function. Caffeine is honestly one of the worst everyday drugs that people take but think nothing of. Never realized just how shit it made my life until I gave it up. I wish I could fall asleep easy and not wake up multiple times a night.